Breaking news! As you know, many people on the right have been boycotting Bud Light, and now the LGBTQ community is boycotting Bud Light. Is Bud Light what will unite the left and the right? It's pretty hilarious. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Woke absurdities. Bud Light, you qualify. Bud Light can do nothing right. And that's cool because apparently they stand for nothing. That's why there's no principles. That's why they're offending the right, they're offending the left, and they're both now boycotting Bud Light. Get to the details why in a second. But first, Bud Light, after here's Dylan Mulvaney, he's a beautiful woman, it's great. So the right boycotts Bud Light, and the last numbers I've seen is Bud Light's sales are down 21%, and actually down 26% compared to last year this time. And they've lost a measly $5 billion in market value. Man, someone at Bud Light, their face is red. And Bud Light's desperate. They're trying to get out of this hole that they dug. And the more they do, the deeper they go. So basically, Bud Light is in a plot of self-created quicksand. You know, they piss off, I guess, a huge part of their customer base. Like, here's Dylan Mulvaney, like he's a woman. Let's celebrate women with this guy. It's great. So the right boycotts Bud Light. Bud Light starts freaking out. Bud Light is committed. Hey, we're going to put major spend behind our marketing efforts because we got to approve. And then they try to make some wishy-washy public statements, meant nothing to people on the right. Then the CEO disavows Dylan Mulvaney. And now the left, the LGBTQ community, plus 2i, two-spirited, whatever, that community, now they are pissed. They're offended because Bud Light disavowed Dylan Mulvaney. We'll see how in just a second. So they're saying, oh, you're not standing by Dylan Mulvaney. You just disavowed Dylan Mulvaney in your shameless attempt to win back your customers. Well, guess what? You just lost even more customers. Bud Light, you are now being boycotted by the right and the left. You're in quicksand. You created the quicksand because you stand for nothing. You stood for nothing. You're trying to use woke propaganda to improve your business. Spoiler alert, that tanked your business. And then trying to backtrack out of that, which was created because you stand for nothing. You're just using woke propaganda because you're shameless, you're soulless, trying to win woke customers. Your backtrack out of that sent you deeper into the quicksand because now the left is boycotting you for trying to backtrack. It's great. I enjoy watching it. So what did the CEO say that now offended the left that is causing the left to boycott Bud Light? Here on Fox Business, I'm not a fan of Fox anymore. Hashtag I stand with Tucker Carlson. CEO distances Anheuser-Busch from Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney controversy by saying it's not a formal campaign. Let's get into those details. Now, I've seen a lot of headlines about the Bud Light CEO disavows Dylan Mulvaney. Now, I have seen no reports of his actual words being, we disavow Dylan Mulvaney. So I think that's sort of just like a summary of, or a lot of people's interpretation of Bud Light CEO's statement. His statement was pretty light, but it doesn't take much to offend the left. Tends to take a lot to offend the right. So here's the light statement that's being interpreted as a disavowing of Dylan Mulvaney. On a call with investors, the CEO, Michael Dorkuris, said, we need to clarify the facts. This was one can, one influencer, one post, and not a campaign. And along with that, the CEO had said, like, hey, this wasn't even our marketing department. This was an advertising agency, and we didn't approve the ad before it went out. Of course, telling the investors that, and also trying to send a message to the right, like, hey, like, go easy on us. We love you. Come back. We want your money. Here's alcohol. Yeah. And in doing so, trying to basically say, like, hey, we didn't approve the Dylan Mulvaney ad. We didn't really know about it. So please forgive us. But of course, that pisses off the left. Clicking over to theblaze.com, you see the headline of this article: Bud Light faces new boycott. Gay bars shun Anheuser-Busch beer brand for not supporting Dylan Mulvaney. Okay. Now, first off, I find it curious. Why would gay bars be boycotting Bud Light? Dylan Mulvaney's not gay. Used to be a gay man. Dylan Mulvaney's not gay anymore. She is a woman attracted to men. That makes Dylan Mulvaney a heterosexual woman. Okay? For the life of me, I can't understand why gay bars are boycotting Bud Light over Dylan Mulvaney. But they are. So let's take a look. New York Post says Chicago gay bars boycott Anheuser-Busch as brewer shuns Dylan Mulvaney. 5 Chicago gay bars are boycotting Anheuser-Busch for distancing itself from transgender social media star Dylan Mulvaney after her April 1st collaboration drew conservatives' ire and calls for a Bud Light boycott. So the Sidetrack bar in Chicago, gay bar presumably, their statement on Instagram was, Brewers' moves strongly bring into question their support of the LGBTQ plus community. Yet, they don't support the community. They also don't support conservatives because they stand for nothing. The old saying, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Bud Light fell for something here, didn't they? They fell for the temptation of money by playing a role, but they don't actually stand for what that role represents. They don't stand for the opposite either. So I would agree, Bud Light doesn't support the LGBTQ community because they support no one other than themselves. And that's cool. Now they're just feeling the consequences. For 41 years, Sidetrack has encouraged liquor and beer companies that have wished to garner the LGBTQ plus customer base to actively support our community. Man, they said LGBTQ plus. So this group, this LGBTQ plus group, they're being very uninclusive to the 2IA part of the equation. Why not be inclusive of them as well? LGBTQIA+, that's important. So anyway, this bar is very uninclusive to them. The bar's statement goes on, Bud Light's recent decision to drop the Dylan Mulvaney campaign to put on leave those who created it, as well as a statement by its CEO, wrongfully validates the position that it is acceptable to acquiesce to the demands of those who do not support the trans community and wish to erase LGBTQ+ visibility. And finally, the bar says its Anheuser-Busch boycott would continue until the brewer can clearly demonstrate that they will not acquiesce to the voices of hate that wish to erase LGBTQ existence. So in other words, they're saying our boycott is going to continue until you acquiesce to us. Bud Light, please try. Please try to please them. And in doing so, I look forward to seeing you sink deeper into the quicksand pit that you have created. Try to acquiesce a little bit to them? Cool. You've probably lost your whole conservative customer base already, but for the few who are holding on, you'll lose them even more. It's great. And then you'll try to win them back, acquiesce to them. Now you'll lose even more of the LGBTQ community and the left. It is great. It is just, man, it's like watching a dog chase its own tail while destroying itself. What a dumb analogy. And of course, this, a handful of gay bars in Chicago boycotting Bud Light probably means absolutely nothing to Bud Light. But why that's significant is, of course, these gay bars, they're the ones in the headlines, but we could also presumably make an educated guess that others in the left are sharing the same views, same opinion, and therefore boycotting for the same reasons as outlined in the Chicago gay bars statement. So that's my presumption. I've got an educated guess that that's going to be pretty accurate. So that's the reason why the left is now boycotting Bud Light. The right's still boycotting them. Sales down by 21%, $5 billion lost in market value. Man, their sales prevention strategy is astounding. If you or I, and I'll speak for myself, completely unqualified to be the CEO of a major company like Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch. So if I somehow fell into the role of CEO, even if I tried, it would be so hard to lose that amount of sales so quickly, that amount of company value. Like, you couldn't accidentally do it. You would have to be very intentional, but you'd have to have such a great business mind to do the opposite of what would be great business. So it is just impressive what Bud Light has done. I mean, it's not profitable for them, but it's impressive. It would be so hard to lose that amount of sales so quickly, but they have succeeded. In another headline by the New York Post, Bud Light will be extinct in a few years for disavowing Dylan Mulvaney, an LGBTQ activist says. So this activist, Stacy Lentz, co-owner of New York City's historic gay and lesbian landmark Stonewall Inn, told Newsweek that Bud Light missed an opportunity to stand by their commitment to the trans community by pandering to and giving in to transphobic outcries. So if we take this LGBTQ activist as a small cross-section example of the left, and certainly specifically the LGBTQ community. I know that's not everybody on the left, but everybody on the left kind of drinks the Kool-Aid and says, tell me what I'm supposed to say and think, and I'll do that. This person is a small cross-section of that community, probably brings tremors to Bud Light, because this is one person's voice, their perspective, but a lot of other people are probably falling in line with that. And thus, maybe she's right. Maybe Bud Light is extinct in a few years. So to me, the whole moral of the Bud Light story is, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Bud Light, you've stood for nothing. You have fell all over the place. You've fallen down, you've broken all your limbs. But of course, the inverse is true, where freedom lovers like you and I can realize if you know what you stand for and have the courage to stand for it, you will fall for nothing. We're living in a world where you can't please everybody. No matter what you say or think, someone will disagree, someone will be offended by it. So you might as well know what you stand for, have your principles, your values, and then freaking stand for those. Because most importantly, you will be pleasing yourself, you will be pleasing your heart and soul. And you'll be pleasing the people that actually matter to you, where you have common ground and share values with. But when you're just trying to please everybody, we know you're coming from a base of you stand for nothing. You're just out for your own little profit there. So Bud Light, thank you for that lesson. And before you go, I want to tell you about something I've never done before. It's the Awaken CBD Mother's Day sale. It's a buy one, get one free sale. Man, Mother's Day, that probably hurt your feelings. Birthing Person's Day. It's a Mother's Day sale where all of our Awaken CBD products, buy one, get one free. You don't need a coupon code. It's just automatically activated at checkout. We've got the traditional Awaken CBD oil drops, come in natural and mint flavored. I love the mint, both full spectrum and broad spectrum. Awaken CBD gummies. We've got the intensive relief rub. I love to do, you rub this all over me after workouts because I tend to be a little sore. And the relief roll-on gel and a few other product options. I would be honored if you gave Awaken CBD a shot to earn your business. You can also get yourself set up on a subscription or just grab a bottle, try it out, see if you like it. But nonetheless, this is the biggest sale we've ever done. Buy one, get one free, runs through Mother's Day. All you have to do is go to healthisfreedom.co and you'll find your way to where you need to go. Please check it out. Buy one, get one free, Awaken CBD. And most importantly, thank you for watching this video. Look forward to seeing you on our next session of calling out those who need to be called out. And until then, stay free, my friend.